I want to chat for a moment about what I would describe as the closing of the Canadian mind when it comes to coronavirus statistics, contextual information, nuance, and what is happening all around the globe. Canadians are usually encouraged to think of themselves as very cosmopolitan, oh so worldly. And they're encouraged to think of themselves as very intelligent in many respects, more so than those Americans. The cliches over the years, oh, Americans are so dumb, this, that, and that, they can't find this or that on the map and so forth, but we Canadians, we're far superior to them. Well, how's that holding up right now during the coronavirus conversation? One of the things that I have found so frustrating is how the general conversation about the pandemic, the restrictions, COVID-19, various different statistics about it, is we are encouraged to have as narrow of a perspective as possible. We bring out daily reports on the case counts and nothing more than that, even though if you open up the epidemiological summaries that the various provinces release and their stuff up at the federal level, you can see there's a whole bunch of contextual information that's really interesting, that the public has a right to know and that I think everybody should be discussing to help really inform their perspective of the virus and also to help them cobble together their own personal risk assessment so they understand how they should be going out and about in society, what sort of precautions they should be taking. Those phrases, knowledge is power and so forth, does it not apply right now? And yet, for whatever reason, one is discouraged from having that big picture perspective. For one example, as I said, the actual facts and statistics about what's going on actually in Canada with the numbers, what the reports show us, and also that more global perspective. I actually saw one journalist arguing on social media the other day saying, well, you don't want to really look around at other jurisdictions because, it's not perfectly apples to apples and so forth, what's going on. Yeah, I know, nothing is really perfectly apples to apples. You can't compare any two economies or any two tax policies in two different countries perfectly because things are just going to be slightly different in every country. But shouldn't we actually look around the world and what's going on with coronavirus cases? But you're not supposed to talk about these different jurisdictions that say have managed to see a drastic decrease in their coronavirus cases, even though they have not had lockdowns in place. I'm thinking of these US states that you're not supposed to mention, places like Florida, some other US states, other places around the world. It's kind of taboos to bring that up. I mean, you just can't have that worldly big picture. And it's been interesting to watch the media kind of encourage that rather blunt level of conversation where you go for a year talking about an issue where you would think, sometimes this is the only thing people talk about for days on end, and yet there's so much contextual info that should be out there in the conversation, but boy, people put a lot of effort into avoiding it, ignoring it, downplaying all of that information. Very troubling, and why I feel we are in this position right now where we are really witnessing the closing of the Canadian mind.